left arms of Jason Behrendorff and Mitchell Starc have once again spoiled the hosts' party. England have fallen to the old enemy at Lord's to lose back-to-back games in ODI cricket for the first time in almost 5 years, led by the Australian captain's 100 in the first innings, who saw out a contentious first 20 overs or so to give Australia, in what looks like now a very formidable 285 for 7. And then Mitchell Starc and Behrendorff had England rattled. 50 for 4 at one stage. Ben Stokes and Jos Buttler tried to repair the damage, but it eventually would fall 64 runs short. It makes Australia the first team to officially qualify for the semi-finals of the ICC Cricket World Cup 2019. So the defending champions are the first to book their berth in the Final Four. And the tournament favourites now have a nervous moment or two. They will play two teams that they haven't beaten in the last 6 World Cups and two teams that are unbeaten in this World Cup to ensure a semi-final spot. To look back at Australia v England on ESPN Cricket for Matchday UK 2019, Murali Karthik is here, rather pleased and I would say gracious in victory, Mike Hussey. And we will go to Mel Farrell and Graham Swan in just a second too, once Mel's been able to put Swanee together. Mike Hussey, you must be very pleased with that performance.
Oh, I thought it was an outstanding performance from Australia today. Very professional in all 3 facets of the game. I think 2 inspired selection calls. Bringing in Nathan Lyon, I thought he did a brilliant job. Obviously didn't get wickets, but he kept it really tight, made it difficult for the English batsmen to get away. Jason Behrendorff obviously getting 5 wickets, got that ball swinging. He did a fantastic job. I guess Behrendorff and Finch could probably fight out for man of the match honours, but I tell you what, the Mitchell Starc performance was pretty impressive as well. Getting Joe Root is the massive wicket. Swanee mentioned that at the start of the match, that was going to be a key wicket, and also picking up Stokes when he was well set and looked like he was the one that could take England away. But Behrendorff was outstanding as well. I'm glad they gave him the new ball because that's where he's at his best. He picked up a couple of early wickets and then came back and got a couple towards the end. Inspired selections, and they should be very happy. I'm sure they'll celebrate tonight because, as you mentioned, they're the first team through to the semi-finals. But they won't get ahead of themselves, and they shouldn't get ahead of themselves because there's still a long way to go in this tournament. And I guess from an England's perspective, they'll be really disappointed, but they're just going to have to pick themselves up and move on quickly. They're not out of this tournament by any stretch of the imagination, but obviously they're under a lot more pressure now.
Have we seen the ball of the tournament? We'll talk about the game more in detail, but have we seen the ball of the tournament
For me,
so
that
far?
is exactly what I thought, and that's exactly what I've asked people. Is that the ball of the tournament?
Which one?
The one which got rid of... Actually, both of them were brilliant deliveries. Joe Root, the way both of them beaten for pace. Top quality batsman, one well set. Obviously, one was early doors into his innings, but to get Joe Root with that kind of a delivery where his bat had not even come and the ball had gone and thudded onto the pads in just this one. Look at it.
Oh, my
From
goodness.
sideways, it's just snuck in. And you can see the disappointment on his face because he was batting beautifully.
Well,
Ben Stokes was
there's
batting.
no shame in getting out to that.
Two totally different deliveries. Obviously,
exactly.
one swinging back in late and sharp, and then obviously to the right-hander, and then the one towards the death where it's just reverse swinging back into the left-hander.
We're going to talk about that more in detail, but let's go over to Lord's now, where Mel Farrell is with Graham Swan.
Is he
and
there?
I'm sure he'll have a few. He is there. And I actually like Graham Swan when England have gone down because he goes hard at them and tends to highlight exactly where this game's gone wrong, in which case Mel will probably have to do a 20-minute chat with him. Mel, all yours.
Well, I don't know. He said he was going to be maybe doing a lot of dancing and no talking at the end of this. The feet are still. I reckon the mouth's ready to go, though.
Yeah, well, Ronnie, you might like me when England lost, but I don't like you at all anytime. So, yeah. We have seen the ball of the tournament. Mitchell Starc to come in when Ben Stokes was set on 89 and playing so well. The last bastion of hope for England. That was an incredible delivery. Fast, late reverse swing to Yorkham. Very good. But wickets up front, I said at the top of the show, or halfway, Joe Root was the key. If you got Joe Root early, it puts a massive dent in England's team because he is the one who would enjoy batting, allow people like Buttler and Stokes to bat round him. Buttler just doesn't look the player when he's trying to rebuild an innings, when he's trying to be sensible, he's trying to do what all the England press wanted after Moeen Ali got out. And in the end, he succumbed to a very bad dismissal. I think it was actually not the shot he played. He was targeting the short boundary, fine, targeting Stoinis, but he didn't commit. And that's what England are doing now. They tried to be aggressive at parts today. Morgan, Bairstow and Buttler. but they're not fully committed to it like they have been for 2 years, therefore they're getting out. So Ben Stokes aside, with the bat, not a great day, but you have to take your hat off, especially to the Aussie left-arm quicks. Behrendorff was exceptional today, brilliant start to the reply, and then Mitchell Starc is just world-class. If you're picking a world 11 for one-day cricket, he's definitely taking the new ball.
I mean, there's a sense of deja vu in that we've ended up with another England innings where Ben Stokes is, you talked about Joe Root before, so much is centering on Ben Stokes playing a sensible hand and then sometimes just not getting the support around him.
Yeah, I think the main problem is that people like Ben Stokes and Joe Root haven't had to deal with these different scenarios because England have got such amazing starts for so long with Jason Roy and Johnny Bairstow. I think the missing, the absence of Jason Roy really is palpable now for England. With James Vince at the top in no form whatsoever, basically a walking wicket against a decent bowler, the England just haven't got the same verve and confidence as, they were getting so many 100 partnerships in 12, 13 overs. The confidence oozes through a batting lineup after that. Owen Morgan doesn't have to face a newish ball up round his nose. It's just Jason Roy needs to get fit and get back in this team very quickly, hopefully in good nick, because until England find their verve and vigour with the bat, they're not going to win anything.
I mean, I think Australia have enjoyed coming into this tournament with so many people talking about India and England in particular. I think it's taken some pressure off them, but the selectors actually, you'd have to say, really got it right today.
Absolutely. I mean, Hurst said at the top of the programme he wanted to see Coulter-Nile play again. I wanted to see Coulter-Nile play again because he's not bowling with any confidence. Behrendorff bowled well against England at the Rose Bowl in the warm-up game. And let's face it, since Mitchell Starc in the 2013 Ashes series, England do not have a good record against left-arm quicks. So why not bring a new one in? And they were both... I mean, Starc, you cannot say enough about his bowling. 4 for 40 odd off 9. He is just simply world class. And like I say, when Stokes was really getting going, and Aaron Finch didn't really know what to do with him, bring on Starc, perfect in swing in Yorker, game over.
Now, you did say you were very happy to see Moeen Ali there today. What about the way he got out again today, or was it just where he was?
Not fussed about that. By that stage, I mean,
it's gone.
That is 4 down early on. Leave Moeen out. Moeen's in for his bowling and some useful late order runs. He's just walked in. Stokes has been cleaned up on 89 by a guy. He's then got to come in fresh and face him. Don't shake a finger at Mo. People need to get off Mo's back and let him just do his job, please. It's that top order again that's fired for so long for England has just gone out.
Well, now, obviously, England is just going to be sweating on the return of Jason Roy and hoping that he is fit.
I know I am.
You've just been sweating all day anyway, because it still is quite muggy. But
I'm going to come back to Mel Farrell and Graham Swan, but maybe the networks have done Graham Swan a favour there. Instead of him having to go on and on about how this World Cup campaign is just suddenly just dropping, let's go back to Murali Karthik. And in these back-to-back defeats, I think the one point that we're picking up from Swanee, in the absence of Jason Roy, some serious batting frailties that seem to have been exposed for England.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And now you can figure out how important those starts are. You can have the best batting lineup, gun batting lineup, but if you don't have starts and you expose even a strong-looking middle order to that kind of bowling, I think people are under pressure. And that's why the question I was going to actually ask him before that line went off was, look, James Vince hasn't looked convincing for a long time. He talks about the fact that the mindset of English batting has not been brilliant so far. Wouldn't it have been a better chance? Look, we are all big fans of Moeen Ali. Put him up top, get Liam Plunkett in, more bowling options, more batting options, more wicket-taking options in the middle, and then, as he said, James Vince has been a walking wicket.
Yeah, I think let's go back to Lords now, where Mel and Swanee are with us. The question being put, Mel, I don't know if you caught what Karthik said. The possibility of an out-of-form James Vince being left out and Moeen Ali being used at the top of the order, which opens up a slot for an added bowler in Liam Plunkett, perhaps.
And possibly it could have been used for a very long time now, Swanee, because James Vince has looked like a walking wicket for a long time. 26th, happy 20s don't actually signify this current English team the way they've played. Moeen Ali up top, Liam Plunkett as a wicket-taking option and also a batting option in the middle. I thought that would have been a better sense or a better team combination with Jason Roy being unfit.
Absolutely, I would so do that. Moeen Ali has grown up playing for Worcestershire and Warwickshire as a top order batsman who bowled a bit. So why not? Because Vince isn't going to do anything. I mean, he's a confidence player with absolutely no confidence at the minute, and Mo needs to be in the team. It balances the team, and I couldn't agree more with the point about Liam Plunkett. England have done well. He has got the best record in international cricket over the last couple of years in that period of taking wickets and hardly going any runs and over. England have lost that because they've gone for sheer pace. They've got excited by the pace of Wood and Archer. Archer's brilliant, Wood's a good bowler, but Plunkett just picks up wickets. Get him back in the team, get back to what we do best, and believe in yourselves, England, for goodness sake. Stop playing like my England team used to.
There you go. They've got a lot to do before the next game. They've got a lot to do before the next game against India, that's for sure, at Edgbaston.
Right, I'm going to throw one question back to you, Mel. I didn't hear any cheers or hardly anything on the telly when Mitchell Starc was running through the English side. How many Australians were in London? And if that's the case when they have 96% home support, what's going to happen in Birmingham in a few days when I think you'll have about 3% of the English present for the game against India?
Yeah, probably I would bank on there being more Australian fans here today than there will be England fans at Edgbaston.
We've just had someone stack it on the wall behind the caravan. I mean,
Yeah.
the England fans who are here today are drunk with gloom. You're absolutely right, there are barely any Australians here today. England, it will feel like a hostile away game at Edgbaston, and that could be a good thing. Forget that you're at home, it's going to be all blue shirts in the crowd. Honestly, I'll say it again, why didn't I think of selling those blue shirts? Mel, we could run away to the Bahamas if we'd done it.
Oh, we could do. But look, the good thing is Edgbaston is a good ground for England too.
I mean, thankfully we've got a weak opposition in the next game.
Said that last time.
Graham Swan, Mel Farrell, thank you very much. Get home safe. If that is indeed what the English fans are like, then we hope that Swanee and Mel can get home unimpeded. But let's continue this conversation, and we must speak of the value of Mitchell Starc, who's hardly played ODI cricket in the last few years and just saves his best for the World Cup. If you bowl like that in a World Cup, take all the rest you need, I say, Mike Hussey, as much as we've been debating the workload management for Mitchell Starc across formats and across leagues and whatnot. 41 wickets in Cricket World Cups, and that's the finest bowling average that we see.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible numbers there. It's like junior cricket numbers. And I must admit, me personally, I was a little bit concerned about Mitchell Starc coming into this World Cup. You talk about workload management. He hadn't played much cricket at all leading into the tournament, and he's a type of bowler that gets better and better with the more bowling he bowls. So I was a bit nervous that his radar was going to be off, his pace might be down a bit, but he has been incredible for Australia. Best I've seen him today with the new ball as well, because I always thought he's okay with the new ball, but he's better in the middle and towards the end when he can get that reverse swing going. But I thought, he was brilliant with the new ball in the middle and obviously at the end as well.
What contrasting forms, isn't it? Kagiso Rabada was bowling like a dream in the IPL, and come World Cup, his form has dipped. You talk about Starc in that home series and everything was erratic. People were talking about his action, the ball not coming in, this, that and the other. And then he comes into the World Cup, is the leading wicket taker and is bowling like an absolute
And he's
dream.
going at an economy of 5.5 at the death. He's picking up wickets
how
at the new ball.
things change.
And I don't know if this is the right time to have this conversation, but well, what the hell, let's just have it anyway. Faf du Plessis says Rabada perhaps going to the IPLs meant that we have a less fit, less potent Rabada. Mitchell Starc opting out of the IPL amongst more things. Is it now an unfair comparison, or is it relevant that Mitchell Starc's bowling at his best after significant rest?
I think it's a long bow, to
Right.
be honest.
All right, fair
I
enough.
thought it'd be good preparation for guys to play in the IPL under pressure situations, having to
Bumrah's
execute their
bowling well.
skills.
Shami's bowling
Bumrah's
well.
going well, exactly. So I think it's horses for courses.
This is now the 6th game for Australia where they've now qualified for the semis, and we can still say that there are parts of the puzzle that haven't come together. I don't know why that's the conversation. They could win the World Cup and we'll still be saying they have issues to fix.
Well, I think it's probably the same with all teams. All teams probably have their holes. There's no perfect team out there, but I think Australia will be really encouraged about the performance today. In particular, I've been worried about the 4th and 5th bowler. I think Lyon did a great job. Berendorf's done a fantastic job. So maybe it's just one bowler I'm nervous about, Stoinis, but he did okay as well. The batting, okay. The middle order's still chugging away, but they haven't quite clicked just yet, but the potential's there. So I think Australia will take a lot of confidence
Again,
from this
isn't it
performance.
funny that the team which we thought had no holes is finding lots of holes there? England. England came in as the watertight team, 1 to 11, so many bowling options.
And Mitchell
Yeah.
Starc and his use of the Yorker has just made this a great day to celebrate fast bowlers and Yorkers. In the World Cup, he's bowled 16 Yorkers, and this is manually input data, but I can tell you it's massively reliable. Bumrah's at 2, Malinga's at 3, Jofra Archer at 4, and Lockie Ferguson at 5. In spite of bowling so many Yorkers, that's the first one he's actually got a wicket off,
Yeah,
which is staggering.
That's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's something that he practices religiously.
Oh, yeah.
So he knows it. And as a batsman, you know the Yorker's coming at serious pace, but what makes him so lethal is he can get that late swing.
Yeah.
So to the left-hander, it's coming down, you're lining up, but then it just darts back in towards towards your leg stump quite quickly. And of course it's quick, so you've got to get that bat down extremely fast as well. So it's a lethal delivery.
And we're seeing some bowlers get reverse swing at those points. Not everyone's been able to extract it, of course, condition specific, but Starc seems to be one of the best at using that aspect.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not an expert on reverse
Yeah.
swing, but yeah, you can definitely make out that people who've got a slightly slingy action and a slightly round arm action are able to extract a lot more. I'm pretty sure if Ajit had been here, he would be able to explain it
Yeah.
a lot better than I do. But just to the naked eye and whatever you've faced so far, you know that certain people have a better chance of getting that reverse swing going. I don't think Pat Cummins got that. I think we saw Bumrah getting it, Shami getting it. I think it's also based on how you release it. Yeah, and definitely, look, it's just unbelievable. Just the couple of deliveries which he bowled, even the ones just in the middle of the spell, some of them were breathtaking. And I think you have to give great credit to Behrendorff. Right. Just a spectacular start. Just the kind of start which lifts the entire side and actually puts the opposition down. When you've got an opener walking in and the ball swinging and cleaning him up, I think it just sends a sort of a death knell into the opposition. You're thinking, oh, root in so early.
Yeah.
And for Australia, there you go.
And I have no doubt that the Australian team is working on that ball within the permissible limits of the law to make sure that it reverses for Mitchell Starc.
I can assure you the
Yes.
Australians are being overly careful with how they look after that ball, and they will be doing everything within the laws. They do not want to lose a couple more players,
All
that's
right,
for sure.
let's round up. Final comments. Let's start with Australia, because all that was said about this team going into the World Cup, it seemed like all the pieces were away, and now they're the first team to qualify. This means a lot, I'm sure, to the Australian public and the Australian cricketers.
Very, very much so. I believe personally, winning World Cups is all about building momentum, doing enough throughout the pool phase, and then coming into the semi-finals, basically playing your best cricket. I feel as though Australia are building. I think they'll be very happy that they probably feel as though they're closer to finding their best team now. They've still got some room for improvement, which is exciting as well. So I think they'll be absolutely delighted about where they sit, and obviously the first goal is getting through to the semi-finals, so they'll be absolutely delighted about that too.
Next step to try and finish top perhaps and send a statement to the rest of the tournament. And they are top for now on the World Cup points table, the Aussies. And England now, Karthik, you look at that, Bangladesh picking up the points yesterday, Pakistan in action tomorrow. If they manage to win that game, we're going to have 2 teams on 7. You'll have Sri Lanka who can get to 8 before England play next.
Yeah, they definitely.
is it a
there are
nervous time
people,
to be
there
an
are
English
teams
fan?
breathing on their neck, and I hope so that they managed to find some reserve, because they were chirpy, they were cheerful. Even when there was doom and gloom and the wickets were falling, you could see the likes of Collingwood and Graham Thorpe and Captain Morgan. There were smiles. So hopefully it continues.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Well, that's been fun, Mike Hussey. Few texts tonight.
Thoroughly
To some of
enjoyed
the Aussie boys. And some of
Definitely.
the English as well. Well, that was fun in the World Cup that you're supposed to be favourites.
Long way
Take
to go.
that.
Long way to
Sure.
go, man.
All right. Thank you very much to Michael Hussey, and thank you very much to Murli Karthik as well. This is where we leave our viewers in the Caribbean for the post-match presentation. It would be intriguing to find out what Owen Morgan has to say about back-to-back defeats now and where their World Cup campaign is. In a minute, in just a bit, you'll hear from both captains. It'll be with Michael Atherton at Lords. For viewers on ESPN Cricinfo, this is where we leave you as well. And we'll be back tomorrow for another massive game. That's New Zealand v Pakistan. Build up to that is going to be half an hour before the start of the game. Until then, from all of us, it's goodbye.